Look, a new 8R is going to set you back over $400,000 today. And if your engine just blew, the dealer is already licking his chops. But what if you didn't have to play their game? Today at AgroTexas, we're doing the unthinkable. Dropping a Case IH engine into a John Deere frame to see if we can save 6 figures without losing a single horse. That's where this conversation starts. Not in some YouTube fantasy. At the kitchen table, with a legal pad and a calculator. The iron we used for this test, on the Deere side, we're running an 8R series chassis. Farmers across the Corn Belt know this machine. Stout frame, reliable hydraulics, transmission that'll take a beating. But the engine was done. High hours, low compression, on 2 cylinders. Smoking at startup like it had a habit. Rebuild costs was going to sting. Bad. The Case IH side, we pulled an FPT 6-cylinder out of a Magnum 310. FPT, Fiat Powertrain Technologies, same displacement class as the Deere. Similar torque numbers on paper. And here's what most people don't know. FPT engines are all over CNH Industrial's lineup. They're not rare. Parts aren't hard to find. Independent shops know them. This isn't mystery iron from overseas. It's well-documented equipment with a real service network behind it. So the idea wasn't crazy. The execution, that's where the headaches live. First headache, the bell housing. Deere and Case IH don't play nice when it comes to mounting patterns. Not even close. We had to get a custom adapter plate machined precision fit to mate that FPT block to the John Deere PowerShift transmission. That one part took 11 days to spec and produce. Right there, that's your first line on the operating expense sheet before you've even turned a wrench. Second headache, and this one's where most guys tap out the wiring harness and ECU. Modern AG equipment isn't just mechanical anymore. The John Deere command center, the transmission controller, the hitch management. All of it talks to the engine through a proprietary network. Drop a foreign ECU in there and you've got 2 systems that flat out won't talk to each other. What we did, we ran a standalone engine management system for the FPT unit. Its own brain, separate from the Deere electronics entirely. The John Deere chassis side stayed completely stock. Clean, split. More shop time up front, but the guy in the seat doesn't know the difference. His display looks exactly like it always did. That matters when you're 3 weeks into planting season. Hey, real quick, if this kind of no BS breakdown is useful to you, do us a solid. Hit like, share this with a farmer you know who's dealing with equipment decisions. And subscribe to AgroTexas. We put out real-world content for working farmers. No corporate fluff, no filler. All right, back to it. Fuel system. Third headache, the FPT runs a Bosch common rail injection setup. High pressure, tight tolerances. We replumbed the Deere chassis fuel delivery to match. New lift pump, upgraded filtration. Not exotic parts, but details you don't skip. Skip them, and you're pulling injectors before you hit 200 hours. Ask me how I know. Cooling was actually the easiest part of the whole build. The 8R's radiator core had enough capacity to handle the FPT's thermal load at full pull. We upgraded the fan clutch and reset the thermostat opening temp. Small stuff, but it makes a real difference when you're running hard in July heat. Total shop time from teardown to first start, 31 days. Total parts and labor on top of the engine itself, right around $14,000. That sounds steep, but stack it up against the asset depreciation hit on buying a replacement tractor at today's prices, and the math starts making sense real fast. Now the field test. That's what matters. We put this rig to work, pulling a 16-row planter in central Texas. Heavy clay, variable moisture, exactly the conditions that'll expose a weak powertrain fast. First thing we noticed, torque response felt smooth. The FPT's torque curve is a little flatter than the Deere 9.0L it replaced. Less aggressive surge at low RPM. Some guys will actually prefer that feel. You're not fighting the machine through the headlands. It just pulls. Fuel burn over a 40-hour test, 4.3 gallons per hour at rated load. Competitive number. Not dramatically different from what a healthy Deere engine would run, but we're not comparing it to a healthy Deere engine. We're comparing it to the cost of getting back to a healthy engine. And on that front, the FPT swap came in about 22% lower in total cost delivered to the field. That's your ROI conversation right there. PTO output tested within 3% of rated spec. Hydraulic flew, because we kept the stock John Deere charge pump wasn't touched. Transmission shifts cleaned. The operator interface in the cab is identical. You could put a guy in that seat who had no idea what was under the hood and he'd never know. That's the goal. Were there problems? And we're not going to sugarcoat it because that's not what AgroTexas does. The standalone ACU setup means you need a separate diagnostic laptop to pull fault codes on the FPT side. If you run a big fleet with standardized Deere service tools, that's a real friction point. Not a deal breaker, but it's shop time you need to budget for. We also had a brief oil pressure flag in the first 8 hours. Traced it back to a pre-oiling step that got skipped at initial startup. Operator error fully fixed, no damage done. But it's a reminder that engine swaps demand a different level of attention than a standard overhaul. You follow procedure, or you pay for it. So here's the bottom line. This swap works. It's not simple. It's not cheap on day one. And it's not for every operation. But if you've got a solid chassis, decent shop resources, and a blown engine staring you down, this is a real option. You're protecting your iron, controlling your asset depreciation timeline, and keeping operating expenses below what new equipment would cost you. The market capitalization of your equipment fleet is a real number on your balance sheet. Every repair versus replace call affects that number. And right now, with margins tight, input costs high, and interest rates where they are, knowing every option you've got isn't optional. It's just good business. AgroTexas ran this test, so you've got the real numbers. Full cost breakdown and parts lists are in the description. If you're facing something similar on your operation, drop it in the comments. We read every one. Thanks for watching AgroTexas. If you found this breakdown valuable, share it with a fellow farmer and comment below your thoughts on this topic. See you in the next one.